Hey Ben, how's it been? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a bit. How you doing?
All right, thanks. So you just completed your fifth run now, right?
That's
Ultra.
correct.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, and I missed the last one, the one in April. I think I was in
Mhm.
Australia and didn't manage to kind of connect with you. Um, so you've done two ultra distance runs since we spoke last.
Yes.
All right, so maybe just give us a little rundown on the one in April, what you did there and how that went, um, particularly how you were feeling during and after the run, and then the one that you did this last weekend, please.
Yeah. This the one I did in April. I I know I've talked about this before, but some of the logistics against these races can be difficult,
Hmm.
and so I ended up doing. My kids had through their school. We're doing a part of the Martian Marathon. They have a kids race that they do, and I thought that I can do that with them because they've never been a part of this journey with me, and so. And then I decided to run the marathon, which their race was right after it, with the caveat that I have to run like a 4 hour marathon, which I've never done before. And so, to make I guess, a long story short, I ended up running the marathon, and then immediately after, running the race with my kids and theirs. And
So you did that in order to get an ultra distance run.
yeah, so I did back to back races, and so I was worried about the time, but I ended up coming in at 3:51, so I had a pretty good time for the marathon for a husky guy,
Hey,
and
3:51's a decent marathon for anybody. And if you're a big guy, even more so. That's great, man.
yeah, it was cool. But the best part about it was my kids were there, and this is the first time that out of all the races I've done that they had been a part of it. Because generally, when you do an ultra, for me, I'm out like 7, 8, 9 hours, and
Right.
they're in the middle of nowhere, and so for young kids, that's not, you just don't bring them to that kind of stuff. At least mine, they would I don't know, burn the forest down or something. So yeah, so it was great that they were there, and they were there at the finish line. I think that maybe gave me a little extra motivation to get in and see them. And they were so excited just to be part of the event and see it and see me cross the finish line. And I'd posted some pictures of them, them there, and give me hugs at the finish line. And it's kind of now they want to do some more races in terms of, and they're all young. Most of my kids are young, so three, or my daughter turns 4 this weekend, 4, 6, and 10, and we have a couple races we're going to do this summer as well, just short run for them. So, but yeah, so it was great for the first time to have them be a part of that journey and actually see what I've been doing, not just the fact that I eat a lot of bacon and I don't eat pizza anymore. It's now they actually see the fun part of what I've been doing. So that was awesome.
Okay. And then the one you did this last weekend.
So this past weekend, again, logistically, with some of the things I had going on, I couldn't get out to a proper ultra. So I ended up running a few different races back to back to back to back. So and it all worked out because they were all in the same general vicinity. And so I would finish one, and I ran, I ran another, I had to run a mile to the next starting line because they were in Stifler Park. So it was fun. And so not a traditional ultra in terms of one long race, but I cobbled together and finished a little over 28 miles that day, running wise. And so in good time, but the conditions were great too. So I don't want to say I'm not ready for the pro circuit or anything, but the cool thing about this past race was that one of them was the proceeds went to Team Red, White, and Blue, which is a veterans organization that does a lot for getting vets involved in health and fitness and physical activity and stuff. So there was a huge veteran presence there, and it was the first time I was able to really interact with them at an event and share my story, and that was awesome. That was the first time I really hit my target audience.
Right. And I mean, yeah, I was about to say that. I mean, that's the whole point of what you're doing here, right? Just to try and raise awareness not only for veterans, but for their plight, but also to try and reach the veterans themselves see if you can help some of them adopt this lifestyle and mitigate all the issues that you've managed to get over.
Yeah, and it's when you see, and it's always a lot of very spirited, good events when you get a lot of, especially like Team Red, White, and Blue, when they're out there and in their full presence. But when you see, for me, when I see guys that were in the same boat I was in, a year and a half ago, and then to share my story, and then just, you can see the wheels turning, like, really, this is what happened, and this, you can do this, and, I don't have to be in pain. That to me was awesome. Second to having my kids at the one race, it was probably the best moment I've had, personally running, being in, I guess, taking whatever I'm taking on, this task I'm trying to do, this running thing. So it was really rewarding in that standpoint, and it's going to lead to some future speaking engagements and opportunity to share.
Yeah, that's brilliant, because like I was saying, your whole point of doing this is to raise awareness, and if you can get, now you're actually starting to make inroads and actually achieving that, so that's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I was chatting to you before this, and you mentioned to me something about, I don't remember if it was this race or the one last year where or last month, where you went out afterwards and felt very little ill effects from the run that you'd just been. Tell us a bit about that and how you're finding your recovery from these runs now that you're on this LCHF thing.
Well, the best one would be this past weekend. And so I literally went from that race. I finished all the races, I should say. And I went right to one of my kids' sporting events at a game. And so I was able to go there. And then, the one my middle son was playing during this game, I was able to play with the kids. And if anyone's ever run a marathon, that was like their goal to do, like their bucket list thing, or if anyone's ever run an ultra, they know that it can be very painful after the recovery. But I go from, I think it seemed like my first race in January, where it was, I felt the effects for a week plus, to now, like, on Monday, I decided not to run just based on some oxidative stress issues I was worried about, but I felt great. That day, like I said, I literally went from the race, drove, and then drove to to the park and with the kids, and we're playing, running around, and I was walk a little ginger, but like I said, I just, on Tuesday, I think I did it, an easy 8 miles, and like nothing. So the recovery has just been crazy, just how good I feel after. Not that you feel great, but the ability to recover, and some of this is adaptations from just the last 5-6 months, but also, like I said, I credit the low carb, high fat, the keto type things to a lot of this, and to my continued weight loss as well. So
I noticed that for me as well, with my recovery from big efforts and stuff like that was so much better than when I was on carbs. So it's interesting to see that's working for you as well. Speaking about that, I think you mentioned that your next couple of races are pretty close together, so it's going to test that recovery thing quite extensively. So tell us a bit about what you're planning in the next couple of months.
Well, for June, just again, logistics that I've talked about with my oldest son graduating, and then just the end of all the summer activities or spring activities. I can't do a race until the end of the month, and so either the 23rd or 30th is when I'm going to do my June race. And then based on my schedule with vacations, work, and maybe coming out to San Diego at the end of the month.
Yeah.
If I can swing it, my July race is going to be either a week or 2 weeks after the June race. And so that recovery aspect of the benefits that I'm getting is really going to be kind of put into play and tested. And some of the things I talk about when I blog and podcast is some of the other things I'm doing in addition to that. And so this will kind of be a culmination to really see if I can, well, how well I can do. You know, is it smart to maybe try 2 ultras within 2 weeks of each other? I don't know if it's smart, but I'm gonna push the limits and test it to see what I can do. I do believe I can, and I can. With my background, I know how to do some of these things smarter. But I mean, what I'm doing in general is not technically smart in terms of traditional thought process. And so running ultra marathons, you know, multiple, you know, starting at close to 300 pounds, and now I'm on the other end of the spectrum, getting below 250, so running them. So, you know, I feel fully confident, especially with what I've been doing with the diet and nutritionally, that I can recover in time and be ready to perform. So,
yeah, and I think that was what I was thinking about, or trying to get at a bit earlier, was tell us a bit about your, you said you were 300 and something pounds. Tell us a bit about what your weight looks like and what it's done since you started on this whole thing.
Well, you know, when I started this thing, like when I ended January 2017, so a year and a half ago now, I was almost 400 pounds. I was like 390, 396, 397. I was getting up there, and it's my own doing, but I see the reasoning why, and it's kind of hard to talk about. I even like seeing pictures of me back then, in all honesty.
Yeah.
I'm not a big selfie guy anyways, but but that being said, now I don't really weigh myself anymore, just because I find more metrics I add into things, it gets my mind spinning. I start to overanalyze, and as opposed to just being. But the last time I weighed, I was somewhere in the high 230s, low 240s. I kind of bounce back and forth. So I'm over 150 pounds lost now, and on hydration status, and if I've done any kind of carb backloading type thing, or it depends. But yeah, and I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah, no, that's really amazing, man. That's the inspiration for a lot of people. So you mentioned June. Just remind us again, when's your next run? June,
I want to say 23rd is the first one. I'm hoping to get up to the Upper Peninsula of Michigan to do it.
Okay.
It's a lot different than the lower Peninsula of Michigan, so it should be very. I guess it came out of all the Ohio runs I've done in the middle of nowhere in the Grand Canyon of the Midwest. So, but yeah, it'll be good. If I can't do that one, then I'll be back in Ohio the week after on the 30th to do. So I have 2 options to choose from. I'm really hoping.
Yeah, but if you do the one on the 30th, then you've got like a week until the other one, right? So that's really going to test your recovery.
Yeah.
So then you're going to do one in early July, and then we're hoping that you can find a way to swing past our event at the end of July, right?
That's the hope right now. And
that'll be cool. And we get you up on the stage, and you can tell your story at one of our breakouts or something, and people can get to ask you more questions and that, and maybe we can come across some veterans there that are in the community or and at that event there that can help you sort of reach more of the veteran community, which is what you're really trying to do here, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's funny because there's been 2 communities that I've, even really before the veteran community, that have kind of reached out to me. And the first has been the running community. And so there's been like some running clubs and running groups and things that have actually reached out to come speak and talk about just, you know, my journey, but then how to fuel with a low carb, high fat diet for endurance. And I think some of that's, you know, as a result of some of the more popular distance runners being on some more famous shows and podcasts. They've seen some of those things, but highlighting that work that was it Volek and Finney had done, you know, did a lot of really good stuff in terms of, you know, fueling with the keto diet. So, but my goal, again, like I said, what we've talked about is getting to the vets and interacting with them. And I've started to do that, and I'm really excited about that. There's a couple student veteran organizations at some local universities as well that I'm going to be talking to this summer. So it's starting to move, you know, it's slowly but surely, but I mean, that's all you can ask for. I wasn't looking to change the world overnight. And so, yeah.
No, that's awesome. So, hey, 5 down. Can you believe that? Hey, at the beginning of the year, we're talking about doing 12 ultras in 12 months. Now you've done 5 already. And, geez, by the time our event comes, you will have done 7. So that's pretty amazing. Hats off to you. A lot of inspiration that you are generating here. And I really look forward to talking to you after the June one. And let's see if we can get you out to San Diego in July.
All right. That sounds great.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, Doug. Yep.